All right, what's going on, Jordan?
Nothing much. How are you? Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, man. I'm doing well. It was a good day. I got to spend some time with the family. How about you? How was your day?
Not too bad. Just took the kids clothes shopping a little bit now that everything's warming up. So
Hey, there you go.
got some new t-shirts and everything. So good to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's about that time right now. It's warming up, so everyone can go out, enjoy a little bit of outdoors too as well. Um, yeah, no, I mean, so I just wanted to get a hold of you because honestly, I saw you posting, just a lot about the community and stuff like that, and I wanted to pick your brain. Wanted to see, you're just the type of politician you are, and get to have a one-on-one talk. I got some questions about the community itself, but at the same time, I got questions about you. Introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Well, I'm Jordan Wamhoff. I am the Madera County Supervisor for District 1, representing District 1, which is the southeastern portion of the county, which includes the Ranchos, Riverstone, and it also covers some of the city of Madera as well,
Mm-hmm.
like Matilda Torres High School and that area up there as well. So it's actually a pretty big area. A lot of people don't kind of realize how big the area actually is, but yeah, it covers that. A little bit about me. Started my job world in banking.
Okay.
So I did banking for about 7 years,
Nice,
and then I
nice.
got the itch to be a cop. So while still working, I did the weekend academy, night and weekend academy,
Yeah.
and so it took me almost a year to graduate that. And as soon as I was done with that, I got hired on with the Fresno Police Department, and I've been there for 14 years.
Very nice.
And throughout that process, I got more involved in the police union side, representing officers, when it comes to wages and benefits and working conditions. But you also get involved in politics to a certain degree, dealing with your city council members and the mayor and those types of things. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of what got me interested in politics, working on that side. Seeing the effects of not just what good political leaders can do to a community, but also what ineffective leaders can do for a community as well. So you've seen it from both ends.
Yeah.
So it's extremely important. If you're going to jump in this field, make sure that you can be effective. And because there's a lot of people who are in it for egos and lots of different reasons, but just care about the community that you live in and work hard and be responsive, be open, be transparent,
Yeah.
and that's what I strive to do.
Which is all aspects I think of a politician that we all need nowadays. I mean, coming from banking, I mean that's a pretty big jump going into to be a police officer. Also, I would imagine it's a big pay cut. What made you decide to go into a civil servant job that wasn't going to be paying as much as banking in the industry?
Well, I was in my mid 20s
Mm-hmm.
and just wanted to change, wanted to do something different. I thought it'd be fun, thought it'd be exciting,
I get that.
and
Yeah.
so that's really it. Wasn't any monetary value that drove me to do that. It was just
No,
something that I
absolutely.
thought was interesting and kind of the adrenaline rush. And I found that I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie too.
There you
But
go.
it's just being outside, responding to 911 calls. Everything's unpredictable,
Mm-hmm.
and you never know what you're going to get. And every day is a different day. You have lots of new and exciting things that happen throughout the day. A lot
Yeah.
of tragedy too.
Oh, I'm
There's
sure.
lots of good in there as well. But you're dealing with uh, people when they're at their absolute lowest.
Yeah.
Typically, people don't call 911 when they're happy, and it's one of those things where you can step in and you can be a force for good for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people and help a lot of people, but also provide justice to a system when people feel like they've been wronged or injured or those types of things. To be that person to step in and provide justice to those who have been wronged.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, I think you coming from a background that again, I'm sure you didn't lack anything, and then go into or going into something that basically demands sacrifice. I mean, it just shows that you most likely did it for the right reasons, and that's to help, and that's to be out there and you know, be there with people at their lowest. You know, as you said, that's great, man. And it's 14 years. You said,
Yeah, 14 years.
man, that's a long time, bud. That's you put your work in.
Yeah.
So you know the area. Did you grow up in Madera?
No, I didn't grow up in Madera. I grew up in Reedley, small town Reedley,
Okay, yeah, not too far.
not too far, Fresno County. And so soon after graduating high school, I moved to Fresno,
Hmm.
and I was only there for 2 3 years, and then I bought my first house in Madera.
Yeah.
And it was one of those infamous buys, in 2009
Hmm.
that I bought my first house for $125,000, and
Man,
had
I would
that
have
at
loved that. I would have
four
loved that.
percent interest rate. My mortgage rate was 800 and something dollars. So
Oh
that's what
man.
got my start in Madera. It was just the value
Yeah.
of living out here, and it wasn't too far from my job and that type of thing. So
I think, I mean, for people who are starting families like me as well, like I moved out to Madera County about in 2001, I believe it was. And yeah, I think that right there is the fact that you're able to get a nice house for, you know, a decent price. And me coming from LA, it was impossible for us, for my family, to really do that at the time. So we're just like, you know, we made the choice to come out here. So I can understand why Madera is that attractive, to be doing that, especially in 2009. Man, you got in a good time,
yeah,
right after the collapse, right after everything was, you know, done. So everything was good, or good for buying, I would imagine.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no. So when you went into law enforcement, you did the 14 years, and then you decided to run for office. Was it right after, or was it like during your time you were like, you know, I want to run for office? You know, I think about it.
No, I ran for office as a police officer
Okay, okay.
in 2022,
There we go.
and so yeah, no, I'm still employed with the Fresno Police Department, so
Still today.
still today, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were retired and you were full time with your job. Okay. No,
Yeah.
no, that's. I mean, hey, that's great, man. So, how does that? How do you balance that? How do you balance being a full time officer and also the district manager?
Well, it's getting harder and harder to balance, So I'm going to be having to make some decisions here pretty soon on my police career,
I get that.
and
Yeah.
so I think it's probably coming to a close.
Mm,
Kind of just changing new chapters in my life, but I've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and
absolutely.
so that's basically how I'm doing it. But I put the people in Madera County first. I have 165,000 bosses,
Yeah, I
and want
get
to
that.
make sure that I represent them to the absolute best of my ability.
And I see you trying, man. I see you out there. You're working with the people, man. You're in the community and you know, trying to make a difference as much as you can out there. Like I said, that's the reason why I brought you on. I wanted to pick your brain and see, you know, the type of person you are, and you seem like a type of person that is very you know, upstanding. So I wanted to really talk to you. There are some things that I actually wanted to ask you about because. Safety wise, I think right now, I think everybody's mind right now are the roads, and I'm like trying to figure out, you know, what is it that we need to do to make sure that, you know, these roads are a lot more safer, because we're getting too many people who are dying or getting hurt, especially on these one lane roads. Is there any like plans to expand, you know, width of them?
Yeah, no. So a lot of these problems, I would say, precipitated 10, 15 years ago.
Hmm.
And when the planning of these big housing projects were done, they weren't done in a way that I would say is prudent for growth,
Oh yeah.
because there should have been certain milestones that were required for developers to increase road capacity during their development.
Hmm.
Instead of now, we have, in Riverstone, we have 2,200 occupied homes. In Tesoro Viejo, we have over 1,000 occupied homes.
Yep.
And so, kind of the changes that we've had moving forward for new development is ensuring that uh, traffic studies and road expansions are done at particular milestones to be in accordance with the growth that occurs instead of just having it being an afterthought. So it's kind of twofold. We're trying to fix what has been wronged in the past with making sure we don't repeat those same mistakes, but also making sure that the projects that we do have in the queue are moving along as quickly as possible.
Right.
So we have two major projects that are happening in our area in the next couple of years. One of them is actually happening, will be happening probably by June of this year,
Nice.
and that is the Avenue 12 expansion project. And it's about a $30 million project. And it's going to widen Avenue 12 from Highway 41 through Road 40. It's about a 1.5-mile stretch, but it's a $30 million project. It expands Avenue 12 at the 41 side to 8 lanes.
Oh, wow. That's
and
big.
then it goes 6 lanes, and then it will be 4 lanes all the way through Road 40.
Yeah.
There will be an additional 2 permanent signal lights at Riverstone Boulevard Southeast and Riverstone Boulevard Southwest. We have a temporary one up right now at Riverstone Boulevard Southwest, but when that project is completed, it'll be raised curbed medians. It'll be the whole deal with permanent signal lights and everything. So it'll make travel in that area quite a bit safer, and we'll be able to accommodate a lot more traffic. A lot of people don't understand, but actually most of the traffic on Avenue 12 is commuters who don't live in Riverstone or the Ranchos necessarily.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's only about 7% of the traffic volume on Avenue 12 comes from Riverstone. So it's not, a lot of people think that that's the major cause of a lot of the congestion, but it's not.
Right. About the new growth and development that we're congesting. Yeah, no, I agree actually, because I actually work in pest control, so this is actually my routes out here. So I'm always driving the streets. I'm always seeing people commuting from the down over there in Oakhurst and stuff like that. Like, it's really busy. But yeah, no, that's music to my ears, to be honestly. The 8 lanes, that's gonna be a wonder to see. But yeah, I think when it comes down to like these new developments, like were you spearheading the fight for it to like get it going? And because to be honest with you, it seemed like it got through fast, like, should I say, from when everyone started to like really start to make noise about it to now where we're at now.
Well, the projects have been in the queue for quite some time. And I've been in office for just a little over 2 years. And so Avenue 12 and Highway 41 have been my biggest pressure points that I've been putting on our county staff and our Caltrans partners to really tighten up timelines and make sure that funding is in place in order to accomplish these goals. And so we have been able to shorten the timelines of these construction projects quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty proud of that. But again, it's righting a wrong that should have been done long ago. All I can do is do the best we can moving forward, and that's really what I'm trying to do. This Avenue 12 expansion project is expected to last through the summer of next year and be done then. So that'll be less than 18 months from now. Avenue 12 will be fully built out and completed.
Wow.
And then the next major project that we have is our Highway 41 expansion project. And all of these can be seen on my website too. It's a little difficult to navigate, but if you click on the Jump to Sub page, you'll see the future of Highway 41 project. You'll see the Avenue 12 project, and you can see what it's actually going to look like. And what's pretty cool is there's a YouTube video, a rendering that was done by some of our architect partners of the Highway 41 project. And so it's a really cool rendering. It's only about a minute long, and it'll give people a really good idea of what it's going to look like. But it essentially is going to be 4 lanes all the way from the bridge where the boat stores are.
Okay, yeah.
All the way up through Avenue 15, so through where you'd turn in for Tesoro.
Yeah, right there by the gas station.
The gas station there. It's going to be 4 lanes, divided highway all the way down. It's going to be much safer, and it's going to accommodate a lot more traffic as well. Now, the bonus to this Avenue 12 expansion project are these signal lights, because there's also going to be a third signal light that's going in the ranchos as well.
Right.
So there's going to be an additional 3 signal lights. So what's going to happen is a lot of the commuters that use Avenue 12 as their daily commute, They're probably going to use an alternate route, most likely Avenue 9, which has another problem that we'll have to solve in the future as far as
Yeah.
accommodating the traffic on Avenue 9.
Yeah.
But it will be, most of the commuter traffic will shift towards Avenue 9. So we'll see most likely less traffic on Avenue 12 just because it's going to take longer to get to the 99 or the 41 inversely.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, because definitely, I mean, I also travel Avenue 9 in the morning, and yeah, it can get pretty stuffy. So, I mean, it'd be nice if people will take some of that weight off. It's interesting to me that I don't know if it's any truth to this, but I hear rumors of that Madera City itself doesn't really like us because we're like so far out, and like they're just kind of like we don't really want to do it. Is that the reason why we have like a private water and a private trash? Is there any truth to that?
No, there's no truth to that. It really
Okay.
comes down to what is the most efficient use of services. And, when cities expand, they expand in areas that are contiguous with the city. So parcels that are already butted up against them, places that they can more easily run, water, sewer, those type water treatment facilities out there. So when they're looking at annexing county property into the city, they're mostly just building just around the city.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, and so out here, depending on where you are, if you're in Riverstone, it's not a private water facility; it's still a public water agency,
Oh, okay.
Root Creek Water District, but there's private trash haulers even in the city and the county. They're all private trash haulers, so we don't have any government solid waste trash haulers in the county.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I was mistaken about the water for sure, but yeah, no, that makes sense though. If everyone has it's a private type, which it yeah, because even in LA it was like that. It's also it's just when it came down to choosing this place, one thing when I lived here, when I was kind of like ticked off about is that I wasn't told about the water, the pricing of the 5%, I think, or five going up 5 times the next 5 years or something like that. I forget what the number was, but there was gonna be a water increase. And it kind of felt like from what I heard was because the developer bailed out of the project and he wanted his money back. What is that situation? Do you know what I'm talking about by any chance?
So there's a lot of misinformation. It has nothing to do with the developer,
No.
wanting to bail out. And actually, when you look at water rates comparatively to other water systems like Tesoro Viejo or Sumner Hill or any of the other kind of special districts that we have in Madera County, they're, I mean, granted they're high. I'm not saying that they're low, but comparatively, they're pretty much in line. Root Creek Water District is not the most expensive water in the area.
Right.
It might seem like that, and it is high. I'm not saying that it's not high,
Right.
and but comparatively, it is in line, and it does get billed every other month, so people feel it a little differently than
Yeah.
if we're billed monthly for it as well. We experience some of those issues when it comes to trash billing as well. Some people are billed quarterly, so it seems like when you do pay that bill, it feels like a lot, even though when you break it down monthly, it may not be all that much. But yeah, water is expensive. It is expensive everywhere you go. When you're looking at city water, like if you're talking about the city of Fresno as an example, they're more politically set. The rates are politically set versus what it actually costs to run the system.
Mm-hmm.
So, as an example, Root Creek Water District, it's a public agency. So it's not a private agency, and by law, they cannot make any profit either. So
Oh, okay.
they did a study, just like any other public agency will do. They'll do a rate study, basically saying how much costs are going to increase approximately over the next 5 years, and they do that rate study, every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the board, which is publicly elected board, will vote to either confirm or not confirm those rate increases. But it's all built in what it actually costs to run the system. So there's no profit in that.
Right. I mean that it definitely fixes a lot of questions I had because I thought they were a private and I thought they were making a profit because I also I mean I was hearing that the price increase was going towards also a new water facility. Is that true?
So they are building a water treatment facility. They call it a blending facility. It removes the iron and manganese out of the water.
Okay.
And but that is not from the ratepayers. That comes from connection fees when new houses are built.
Mm,
So the ratepayers are not footing the bill for that water blending facility.
okay.
So it's strictly coming from the fees that are paid when a new home is purchased.
Makes sense. Okay.
So it doesn't get incorporated in your bi-monthly rate.
So what is the price increase is just for the rate of water? Is that what it is, or what's the
It's
price increase?
infrastructure. It's the price of water.
Okay.
It's the cost of everything never goes down. It always goes up. It's and I don't know exactly what those incremental rates are,
Right. Right.
but those the Root Creek Water District board meetings are monthly and they're held right at the Riverstone Lodge. And I would encourage, and the agendas are set online. So if you
Right.
go to Root Creek Water District's website, you can view their agenda. And if you have questions or comments, by law, they will open it up to public comment. So any resident, if they have any concern, they are able to, submit comments. Really, what I would just do is just pick up the phone and call them. You don't necessarily have to go and speak during public comment just because you're legally allowed to. But I think the most effective way is just pick up the phone. If you have questions, just call them and ask them. They've been pretty receptive whenever I've reached out, or I've gotten feedback from constituents saying that they've had positive feedback when they've reached out to them as well.
I think like most people understand, water is expensive. I think most of the people, though, I would imagine are. It's not that they're paying a lot, just a lot. I mean, sure it is at that, but also I think it's because the quality of water. I mean, what is it that the normal citizen can do to mitigate that water problem because of the smell? Some people are having really bad discoloration. And it's, I know that they say that it's part of the minerals and that's just the way the treatment is. But I mean, to put my kids in that, I don't know if I still would trust it. I mean, it's still just,
Yeah. So that's why that blending facility was commissioned to be built, because it removes the iron and manganese. So just and I'm no chemist by any means, so I'm going based on what people tell me. But when iron mixes with chlorine, which municipal water companies are required to have a certain amount of chlorine, when the chlorine mixes with the iron and it sits for a certain period of time, and sometimes in these new developments where there isn't a lot of water flow towards the end of the developments, that can discolor the water. And so when people do see that discoloration, or if it's a certain smell that comes out of the water, that's what causes that. Now the water gets tested regularly all over the place. It does meet state of California guidelines as far as drinkable water. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
That people may not want to drink water that has a slight discoloration or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Little bit of brown tinge to it.
Yeah, and I'm not downplaying that by any means. I just the water does get tested regularly, and
Right.
There are some scare tactics too from people that are coming in to sell water treatment things that are on your home site there, where they'll dip your their little thing in your water and say that your babies are gonna grow a second arm, or
eczema and all that
arm,
stuff.
11
Yeah.
fingers and toes, which isn't the case either. So it does meet the water quality standards, but I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it.
No, yeah.
So
I mean,
they're
it's
trying
hard.
to mitigate that with this blending facility that they're building.
Has it started being built or anything?
Oh
Or?
yeah, it started. There were a lot of holdups due to control panels being backdated, and this started since COVID. We even have
Oh wow. Okay.
control panels that we need here in the county of Madera, not just for that particular site, but there's a huge backlog of these electrical control panels worldwide. So there's a backlog, and it's tough to get that.
I'm glad I'm talking to you, man, because it's really there's a lot of stuff that I was misinformed about, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because I really thought that the facility was a new idea and that we're just getting it started. But yeah, no, that makes sense that it was started because it's the development started really around that time as well, right?
Well, they decided as a board to start that blending facility about 2 years ago.
Okay,
So it's getting close to being done.
nice. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I'm just distracted and I'm thinking like, oh, it just started. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
it's been
No.
2 years ago. But yeah, no, that is a
Right.
little while back.
And I did a Root Creek Water District town hall at the lodge in Riverstone,
Okay.
and I have all of the notes. They're on my website as well. So a lot of questions, a lot of answers. So if people have questions about that, I think there were probably 25, 30 different questions that I I, I posted and with answers as well.
Nice. And it's
It's been
online?
some time, so I don't recall exactly what was said during that time, but there were a lot of people from the community that came out, had questions and concerns. We brought out several people from Root Creek Water District, from the county, and answered a lot of questions for the folks.
Oh,
And I think
definitely.
at the end of the meeting, people had a lot of clarity as far as, you know, the direction that it was headed as far as water quality and those types of things.
I would say so, just because I mean, it seemed like after that meeting, a lot of the online talk kind of calmed down a little bit. Yeah, so I agree. I mean, I again, but I think that there's a lot of misinformation about this situation that's going around online. Again, I thought a lot of stuff, and yeah, I'm glad it's clarified. So when it comes down to the future of Madera, or in this your district, what do you have? What do you inspire to do? What do you inspire to bring to this community?
Well, I want kind of my vision for this area. It's as soon as you cross over the river from Fresno into Madera, I want it to feel different.
Mm.
I want it to feel safer. I want it to feel nicer.
Hmm.
I want it to be someplace special that people have a discernible uh, uh, people can discern that it is different, that it's different out here. We want it to be a better way of life. We want it to, be a place where you don't have to cross over the river into Fresno if you don't want to. Right now, because of amenities out here and those types of things, um, you know, you have to. But also at the
Yeah.
same time, we wanted this to be, a family friendly area. We want good schools. We want everything to be extremely safe, and the roadways to be safe, and have the amenities out here that help build our tax base to further bettering our own community. Because every time someone drives into Fresno to go shop, their tax dollars go to Fresno with them. I just want this to be a great place to live, a great place to work, and a great place to hang out and play and be family friendly, and to have good schools. That's really what we want. We want it to be a really nice community to live.
No, absolutely, and I appreciate you having that vision, because I think that we all, as a community, come to this community. Because I think I learned a lot of people come from out of town in this community, and we all had
Yeah.
that same type of mindset. When you decided to run, what year was that? It was
2022.
2022. Dude, it's crazy out there. Like, what made you decide to like put yourself out there and do this?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, I wasn't looking at the political environment at the time.
Mm.
Um, I just, I really wasn't even thinking about it at all until someone had told me that there's going to be a vacancy on the board of supervisors for our area.
Mm.
And then at that time is when I started thinking about it, and I had kind of talked to other politicians that I knew, and some friends and family, and they encouraged me to run and go for it. And you know, I'm civic minded, and I have confidence in myself that I feel like I can get things done
Yeah.
and move the ball forward for our community. So I felt, why not? And so that's really all it is. It's just it's a belief in myself that I could be responsive to the community, but also work with staff and partners to get a lot of things done for our area.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stubborn. Most people will tell you, and county staff, they'll tell you that I'm probably the most stubborn person on the Board of Supervisors because I demand a lot of things and I increase people's workloads a lot, but we have things to do and we have timelines to hit.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, stubborn's good. Stubborn's good. Stubborn's good in your line of work, man. It's needed. It definitely it was needed to for this area. I felt like, because again, like you said, there's a lot of wrongs that you had to right, and if no one stepped in, it probably would have been wrong still for a long time. But yeah, no, I think that it's something that we need for our, like I said, for our community. Did you think that it was going to be any type of trouble, like any type of hardship towards you running like as a politician? Like, did you not like fear that at all?
Well, there's a lot of fear involved when you're running for political office. I mean, as a cop, you try to hide your personal identity. You try to lay low. You try to, be out of the limelight, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're running for office, the goal is to do the opposite. So it was very, very, it was a strange and surreal feeling when you sign to go be a candidate.
Yeah.
It feels counterintuitive to everything I've ever done. And then when you put your first sign up with your name on it for people to see, it makes it all very, very real. And it was very uncomfortable for me at first.
I'm sure.
And then, you quickly get over it and you try to get your message out there as much as possible. But it was certainly, it was certainly difficult at first. Because you put yourself out there, you become a target.
Mm-hmm.
You become a target for criticism. You become a target for all things. And there's a lot of keyboard warriors. There's people who, talk online and say a lot of things, but you have to have thick skin and just know that you're doing the right thing for the right reasons and, be responsive to the people. But ultimately, if they don't choose you, then they don't choose you. Yeah. And that's what being elected is all about. It's you do what you believe is right because it's the right thing to do. And hopefully, if you're listening to your constituents, you know what the right thing to do is. But it is challenging. Yeah. It is, and it's difficult to put yourself out there. It's a vulnerable feeling.
It really is. Like I can just imagine. I mean, me doing this podcast, to be honest with you, like I feel uncomfortable even doing this type of podcast. I'm not the type of person to be on camera and getting my opinions out and stuff like that. So I could just imagine that what you're doing is like 100 times that, 100 times this of like, hey, look at me, and I need you to hear me out on this. And it's just like it's so counterintuitive to how I live my life and feel. So
right, yeah. No, I mean I'm in the same boat. It gets easier over time, talking with folks and putting yourself out there. It does. But I've spent 14 years as a cop, and you try to not let anybody know, really anything about your personal life because they can use it. You're putting, felons in prison, so for your own safety and your family's safety, you try to minimize that as much as possible. But in the political world, you're really putting yourself out there. Yeah. But I enjoy it. I have thick skin. People can criticize me all day long. I'll accept the criticism. Some people are more mean than that, but that's okay. Just the way some people are. Just have to stay focused and make sure that you're working hard every single day and doing what you believe is right. And other than that, if I don't get elected after that, what else could I have done?
Right.
It's fine. And, I don't rely on this as my job where if I don't get reelected, I'm going to be devastated. Mm-hmm. I don't think like that. I'm a cat. I'll land on my feet, but I'm going to do the job that I was elected to do, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Absolutely. And if people like the job that I'm doing, then I'll get reelected, and if not, then so be it. But I am running for re-election. I just started my kickoff campaign for 2026.
Hey, there we go.
So that's in June of 2026.
I mean,
And
the way you're getting things done, man, you got my vote, honestly. I mean, it's just like we need people like that are able to move the bar, move the point, the needle point. I mean, what's the saying? Anyways,
move the needle.
move the needle. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, no, we definitely need that. And like I said, I think people who will who thought the way I did, after watching this podcast, hopefully they get straightened out, and then they understand that we have somebody who's out there fighting for us. But yeah, it's definitely, like I said, needed, man. And I appreciate you doing it for us, and I appreciate you making sure that that it's important to you.
Yeah, I mean, we just I look at everything now. Obviously, I have a law enforcement background, so a lot of the things that I put a focus on are public safety type initiatives, and making sure that we have staffing, and our deputies have the tools that they need, and making sure that response times are where they need to be, not just from that perspective, but from a fire perspective and from an EMS perspective. When I got into office, it took me 18 months to change our EMS contract.
Dang.
Our EMS contract for the county had not been changed since the early 70s.
Dang.
It had been that old. And so it took 18 months. I met with Dan Lynch, our Fresno EMS director, who controls 4 different counties with their EMS dispatch center. And we reworked a contract and got the whole map of Madera County changed when it comes to response times. So before, if you weren't in the city of Madera, you were considered rural. Mm-hmm. And what that meant was an acceptable response time for an ambulance was 20 minutes.
What?
That was the acceptable response time. That's nuts, right?
That's
if you're
crazy.
in a car accident or any sort of heart attack or any other trauma-related incident, moments matter, minutes matter, seconds matter at times. And so we were able to remap the entire county. So for our area, so for the Ranchos, Riverstone, Rolling Hills, Tesoro Viejo, we were able to make that suburban.
Okay.
So instead of urban, it's suburban, which is a 12-minute response time. Which still seems like a lot, but that's
no, yeah. I mean, it's better than 20 minutes, but that's still, it's actually kind of weird. It's weird that we have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but the key kicker to that is if the ambulance provider doesn't respond within that time frame, on average in a month, now they get fined because there was no criteria for them meeting that 20-minute response time even prior. So now they're financially incentivized to make sure that they meet that response time. So what we've seen is ambulance providers parked in Riverstone, ambulances parked in the Ranchos, ambulance parked different areas now.
Oh, okay.
So those are the types of things that get me excited, because that is going to save lives. You will never know how many lives will be saved, but that is going to save lives.
Absolutely.
So those are the things that I'm passionate about and I'm excited about, to modernize this county and really put public safety first. So it's not just when it comes to our deputies, but ambulance and fire and those types of things too.
No, yeah. I mean, it's glad to hear that the money incentive in medical industry is working for our benefit this time. But yeah, definitely. That's awesome, man. 12-minute response time. It's a little weird to me that they even have, demands, or not demands, but like levels of response times to different areas. You would imagine that would do response times on the specific ongoing situation.
So they do. They have different levels. So, and the response times that I'm referring to are code related calls. So these are the serious ones. So these are car crashes, heart attacks, serious trauma related incidents where they would go lights and sirens.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about when it comes to that response time. It's a longer response time for things that aren't necessarily an emergency.
Okay.
So
yeah.
They are categorized into emergency situations.
But that's crazy. 20 minutes for a car crash, 20 minutes for a heart attack. Man, thank you, man. Because that I'm glad that's I didn't even,
And most of the time, it's
that's
much
a
less than
fear that I
that.
didn't even know I needed to have, and I don't have to worry
Right.
about it.
A lot of people just think that, I'll call 911 and I'll have all the services there within 5 minutes.
Hmm.
And that's not necessarily the case. Now, we are very fortunate out here, and we do put a lot of funding with our fire. A lot of what our fire department responds to are medical aid calls. Actually,
Hmm.
the majority of their calls are medical aid calls, not necessarily fires. So, they'll show up to car crashes and heart attacks and stroke victims and things like that as well. And that's the majority of what they respond to. So,
Right, right.
and they have a lot of the tools on their rigs to deal with those types of situations as well. But between our sheriff's department, who all, the board of supervisors voted to have defibrillators, the AEDs, in every patrol car,
Mm, okay.
just because of a more rural type setting. And if an ambulance isn't there first and someone is experiencing cardiac arrest, they can use that defibrillator and help that person. Actually, just
Yeah.
happened last week. We're going to be honoring a Deputy Martinez. She was first on scene of a 2-year-old that was
Oh,
had cardiac arrest, and the father was doing CPR, and the deputy used the AED that we'd placed in all the patrol cars, and now the 2-year-old is alive and well. And
wow.
so just things like that really make a difference.
No, that's
So
awesome, man. That's great. I have a
really
2-year-old
excited.
myself, man. I can't imagine my baby going into cardiac arrest.
Right. And so when a deputy there, because as a parent, you don't care. You want someone there to help,
Yeah.
whether it's an ambulance or a fire engine or a deputy. The thing that we pride ourselves here in Madera County is everybody's coming to you.
That's awesome.
Everybody's coming to you. The first person that gets to you is going to have some level of knowledge or expertise or tools to try and help the situation. So, having a lot of the deputies that have that basic life-saving skills is important, and also the tools to be able to help if they're the first ones on scene.
I wish I was about to say. I mean, like the fact that she had training on that already is wonderful. I mean, I don't know how it is in LA where I grew up. Majority of my childhood, not majority of it. I mean, I grew up in San Jose and then moved out to LA when I was 15, and then moved out to Fresno just recently. So about 15 years each, and up north and down south. But either way, I don't remember cops being that uh, diverse in their training and being able to take on those things. So that's wonderful that I live in a community that does that. What did you implement that? You said, right, you implemented everyone to have that.
Our board voted to provide AEDs in every patrol vehicle.
Oh, that's
So
man, that's
provide the funding. It came from the sheriff, as
mm-hmm.
a request, but budget items come through the board of
Sheriff
supervisors.
who?
And
Do you know his name?
yeah, Sheriff Tyson Pogue, and he's been great.
Okay.
Um,
Shout out to Tyson, man.
shout out
Sheriff
to
Tyson, man.
Sheriff Tyson Pogue, man. He's been doing great things, and so we're really lucky to have him as our elected sheriff as well.
There we go.
And he partners very well with the board, and of course myself being in law enforcement, I get a lot of the things that he experiences, and so it's really helpful having someone on the board with law enforcement experience to be able to work with our law enforcement partners like our sheriff's office to make sure that they have the tools that they need, and but also to be able to recognize from a fiscal standpoint that maybe there's things that they don't need,
Yeah.
right? And so I can identify some of those as well. But we're very lucky here in Madera County because we don't have this huge 1,000 deputy agency like Fresno PD has, where they have 1,000 officers almost.
Wow. Yeah.
And so it's, including everyone, we have about 130 deputies. And
Man, shh! Don't say that out loud. Just kidding.
what's that?
I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that out loud. People are listening. I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, but the thing is with that is we provide a much higher level of service here in Madera County than
Right.
most other agencies. We respond to a lot of calls that bigger agencies won't even respond out to, and they'll carry investigations further than most bigger agencies would. I've seen it firsthand.
What's the population in Madera?
Madera County is about 165,000 people.
Okay, never mind then. I'm thinking that it was like close because I know Fresno is like 1 million or something, right? So,
Yeah, well, Fresno County is about 1.2. The city of Fresno is almost 600,000.
Okay, so that makes sense why the numbers are so drastically different.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's comparable to, the Fresno Sheriff's Office per capita,
Okay, okay.
deputies per capita. So it's not like we're, super understaffed or anything like that.
No,
Obviously we
that's
want
great.
more deputies, but yeah, we're doing okay right now as far as staffing levels, and it is harder to recruit cops and
Oh, I could
deputies
just
and
imagine right now.
dispatchers. It's not easy right now,
Yeah.
and so the market is what it is, and it makes it harder on counties to pay for those services because you have to pay deputies more money.
Hmm.
The applications after 2020 and George Floyd, police applications dropped by over 60% nationwide.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
Yeah.
when you have a drop in applications 60% for a profession, and it's still maintaining some of the same hiring standards that you want when you're hiring law enforcement officers, it becomes a lot more difficult. The pool of candidates is much smaller,
Yeah.
and in order to recruit those people, most municipalities and counties are resorting to hiring bonuses and higher wages and higher benefits and those types of things. So it's just being responsive to the market demands of hiring law enforcement officers and dispatchers. And it's extremely hard to hire dispatchers right now too.
Why dispatchers?
It, I, it's a stressful job. It's a tough job, and
Oh, like 911 dispatchers. Okay.
911 dispatchers.
I'm thinking
Yes.
like dispatchers, like, hey, tell the officer to go here to, kind of on the radio, for the
Well, it is.
police
Yeah,
station.
it's
Oh, okay.
911 dispatchers. It's people who are answering 911 calls and dispatching deputies.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It's a very stressful job. I had
Yeah.
shoulder surgery about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and while I was recovering, they threw me down in dispatch, and the multitasking and stress that goes on with being a 911 dispatcher and radio operator, it's very, very high. It's tough. It's
Oh
a
yeah.
demanding job.
My aunt actually tried out for or she didn't try. She got the job and she was doing it for a while, and she decided she couldn't do it anymore because of that, because of the stress.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man. It's you hear people at the lowest of the lowest every day, all day.
Yeah, no, it is. And they work 12-hour shifts, and
Yeah.
it's a tough job. So the long story short, we have a finite amount of general fund revenue that the county gets, and a lot of it is prioritized. 76% of it actually is spent on public safety. So
Hmm.
that's our sheriff's office, that's our which includes our corrections jail staff as well, our fire, and our district attorney's office.
Okay.
So between those three agencies, it encapsulates 76% of our general fund dollars.
Nice. I mean, that's actually a pretty good chunk of going to something that matters to us. Especially, because sometimes you might hear, a lot less going to things that mattered, going to other things. But when you sit in the fire department over there in what was it, Tessa, or is it Tesoro? I can never say that properly. Is that how you say it, right?
Tesoro Viejo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tesoro. Is it that station? Is it for everybody, or is that just for them? Is that something that we can do for our community, or?
Yeah, so fire stations are planned all throughout with growth.
Okay.
So there's actually a fire station in Rolling Hills, which is directly south of Riverstone. But
Right.
there's also another fire station that is being planned right now, a very large fire station that is going on Avenue 12 and Road 40. So it's
Okay.
going to be right on the southwest corner of Avenue 12 and Road 40, and it's going to be a full-blown 3-bay fire station.
Nice, nice. That's so right off
That's
the
gonna,
right across from that the American flag barn, right?
no, that's 41. So it's
Oh,
actually a
four.
little bit
Okay.
further. It's further west.
Okay.
Where it's Road 40 and Avenue 12.
I get confused with the road still for some reason. The numbers get me.
Yeah.
So they're building that there, and also I heard that they were also going to be over here going to be building the some type of grocery store. I keep hearing that for years. Is that something that's still planned in the works, or what's going on with that?
Yeah. So I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but it looks like Riverstone is very, very close to signing a deal with a major grocer.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You don't want to leave too much
I'd rather just
information
tell
out there.
people when it happens
Yeah, I
versus
get it.
saying,
And, putting it
But
out there. Yeah.
I know the talk has been for a very, very long time, and also competing between the developments as far as who's going to get the first grocery store.
Right.
I do believe that Riverstone is the closest to getting that, and they are very, very close to inking a deal with a major grocer.
Yeah, I think people are excited for the growth. It's just that we don't really see it, so we're just kind of like, man, when is this gonna happen? Because I think,
know.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
People, when they talk to real estate agents and things like that, the real estate agents will tell people that all these things are going to be happening in the next 6 months, and not necessarily the case. And
You talked to my real estate agent?
I must have. Shocker,
Yeah.
they're trying to sell some houses.
Right. Got me.
A lot of growth on the commercial retail side has to do with mainly two things. It's the economy and number of rooftops around you.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Where is the state of the economy, and how many people are in the immediate vicinity who are able to use that particular retailer?
Right.
So Riverstone has the most amount of homes as far as any master planned development in Madera County, at 2,200, and their max build out is 6,700 homes.
Okay.
And so they have the most rooftops right now, and it's situated along Avenue 12, which half the 41 traffic dumps off onto.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that half of the traffic on 41 leaves on Avenue 12.
Dang, it's a lot.
So it's quite a bit. So anything further north makes it a little bit harder to have a major grocer. Anything further south, like on the Valley Children's Hospital campus, is a little difficult because you don't have a lot of homes in the immediate vicinity.
Yeah.
So I think the natural area is Riverstone to have that first grocer, and I think people are going to get word here pretty soon that's going to happen.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear the news. I mean, I always wondered because they have all that space, and I'm just like, it's like, it's ripe for the picking. I don't understand what's taking everyone so long to choose. But also the area too, like that little space in like the Riverstone area, like right there off of where that new light was put up, that field. What is that field for? I keep hearing both sides, like either whether it's like for zoned for housing or zoned for a new lodge. What is that for?
That's all zoned for commercial retail, kind of your neighborhood.
Okay.
It could be a CVS pharmacy, could be a gas station, could be a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm glad I'm asking you because I'm going to trust what you're saying because I'm excited now.
Yeah, it's all zoned commercial in there.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering. Also, too, I think I read something about they were going to open up a new school, so I was wondering if maybe they're going to a new elementary school. So I thought maybe they would use that for that too. I don't know.
I don't believe it's on that site, no.
But they are doing a new elementary school, right?
Yes, they're Golden Valley Unified is actively working with the state architect and designing a new elementary school.
Nice. Well, is there a high school that was being built, and is it finished yet, or is it still being built?
So the current high school for Golden Valley Unified is Liberty High, and they still have not reached their max occupancy yet.
Oh, so it's not even going to be until that happens.
Right.
Gotcha.
And, there's a lot of studies out there that essentially say that population is going to be declining. People are having less kids. And in 20 years, 30 years, there's actually going to be less enrollment in high schools than there currently is right now.
Ah, man, that's
so
scary.
It makes it a little sketchy to, start planning out new schools and things like that, even though our area is growing. I think eventually there is going to have to be a high school, and how far out it is, it could be 10, 20 years. I don't know. But the current Liberty High has capacity for quite a few more students.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Hopefully that isn't the case. Hopefully we realize that we need to have babies because we need babies. We need more.
A lot of people, people wait later in life to have kids. And if they are, they're having one. or maybe
Yeah.
two. And if you're having
Yeah.
two, you just equaled yourself out,
But I think it's just the
So,
day and age as well too. I think people are just afraid with the uncertainty of what is to come. With the whole world, possibly World War III over their heads, and it's a scary time. I get it, but I hope that we don't live in fear, and I hope that we still live to be Americans, and strive for living fruitful lives. But
plus, who's going to take care of you when you're older? Gotta have kids,
exactly,
man.
exactly. I mean, Japan itself right now. I mean, they're having a crazy problem. I mean, a lot of people are,
Yeah.
but Japan, I think, is and it's pretty sad. I mean, a lot of people don't have those people to take care of them, and I mean, you don't want to end up like Gene Hackman. I mean, I don't know if you heard.
Yeah,
Man,
that's wild.
it's wild. It's wild, man, and it's so sad, dude. But I always wondered as well too if this whole situation around the world is to I don't know. Do you believe in conspiracy theories?
Well, I believe in facts and evidence.
I believe it too, but it's always fun sometimes to dive into them. But I always question, whether or not.
Questioning is always good.
Yes,
It's always
yes.
good to question.
Yes, whether or
So,
not you take those questions and then you take insufficient evidence thoughts or thoughts with insufficient evidence and then you believe those to be facts. That's where the problem happens. I get it. So which is why I always just tend to think of depopulation plans and stuff like that as just conspiracy theories. I don't really have any truth belief into them, but I always question because I'm like, what is the point of telling people that it's getting to the point of like the where we can't have babies and it's like we're being overcrowded, too many people in the world, and I'm like, I don't understand that. I really don't get it because it's like it's scaring people, making them feel a certain way, but at the same time it's not truth. And I mean, you just look around. I mean, there's plenty of space. We can always build up as well if that ever came down to it, but I just don't get the argument for it.
well, I mean, conspiracy theories, saying that there aren't, organizations or people that, want less population. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I think that's just factual.
Right.
But how much sway they have on on the world population. The China one child policy really ruined them for a long
Oh
time.
yeah. Yeah.
It ruined them for a long time, and now they're trying to overcome the effects from policies from 30 plus years ago, and
Yeah.
it just takes so much time. I don't think we have a overpopulation crisis in our world.
No, I
No,
don't
I
think I
don't.
don't think so either. I don't think so either. But it's all I heard growing up. To be honest with you, was this the numbers are going in crazy and out of control, and it's just like fear mongering at its best, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree.
But no,
I
thank you.
did I did my part. I had three, so I officially
Oh
I
man.
officially had more than yeah, than what zeroed me out.
See, me and you have two different perspectives on it. 'Cause I got three as well, and I feel like I didn't do enough. Maybe it's because I'm Mexican and I have like this idea of a big, huge family. But like also like I think about people in the 1800s, how they had like 17 kids, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can we at least like find in the middle ground here? No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm good with three for now. I mean, I'm not really trying to do more than that right now, just because yeah, times are hard, man. This the way my bank account is, it kind of doesn't fit any more room for another kid.
But you know what? You'll figure it out. Just have more. I'm going to rely on you.
There you
So
go. I'll make sure to do it for both
don't
of
worry about
us.
the fiscal consequences. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, it won't bite me in the butt later on. But hey, man, Jordan, I thank you for you being on here and us
Yeah.
talking. I hope that we can we'll do it again sometime soon. It's great meeting you. Like I said, is there anywhere anyone can go to that you want them to go into to learn more about you or learn more about the projects that you have?
I would really like people to follow my social media, my Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook is Supervisor Jordan Wamhoff, and my Instagram is Supervisor Wamhoff. And follow those. I provide a lot of updates. I don't have my county website URL up necessarily. Maybe you can find the
Yeah, no,
link,
we'll get it, and then I'll put
and
it up.
people can jump to the sub pages to find those particular projects that we have in the queue, because we do have quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
and just follow me for updates. I do town halls, and I call them coffee and conversations in the morning. Town halls are in the evening. I just had one 3 weeks ago or so at the Rancho's Library. Had a
Nice.
really good attendance, about 60 people there.
Cool.
And I invite all of the partners from our county. So our CHP, our sheriff, our public works staff, and our fire team. So we have all of our partners there. We talk about things that are happening in the county, road projects, water projects, special districts, anything you guys have questions about. They give a little presentation, and they have an opportunity for people to ask questions. Our next one is going to be, I don't have it posted yet, but it's going to be a morning one, probably at the Rancho's Library again.
Nice.
And then the next evening one we'll probably have in Riverstone in the evening. So the young families and folks who work, they'll have an opportunity to come out after work and listen to things going on in their community.
Very nice. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'll make sure
But
to get all.
follow my social media stuff. That's where I put out most of my updates and
Nice.
see me
Okay.
rant online.
I'll also put all that information inside the bio and detail of the episode. Again, man, thank you again. I really do appreciate you taking the time out. I learned a lot. I hope you guys all learned a lot as well too. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Take care.
You too, man.